Welcome from Munich with the Lenovo Yoga 2 Pro tablet and notebook all in one. This is not one of the cheapest ultrabooks out there, but it's an ultrabook with an intuitive and interesting design and one of its kind, because the two-in-one design of this device allows us to push back the screen 160 degrees all the way to the bottom, but you of course don't want the bottom on the flat down on your table. You want it facing to you, and then you have this keyboard on the bottom. And actually Lenovo took it so far. This is of course the second generation, that's why the 2 is in the name, that even in the ThinkPads, in one of the ThinkPads, in the ThinkPad Yoga, they have now this technology where what this doesn't do, when you flip over the screen, the keyboard will actually be gone. You won't feel it on the bottom anymore when you will use it, so that's a little bit even better. And it has a stylus. The only thing this has in which is better than the ThinkPad Yoga, is that we have a QHD resolution, which is a 3200 x 1800 pixel display, 13.3 inches. This is the 512 gig, 8 gig RAM and i7 4500U version, which costs here in Germany 1,700 euros. I think that's about 2,000 bucks in the US, but I think in the US you should be able to get this for starting 1,300 with an Intel i5 of the latest Intel Core i generation, which means it should have Haswell, which is the fourth generation ultrabook processor, which means again that you have a really long battery life. This should easily do 6-7 hours of Wi-Fi. We will try that out, or actually my friend will try it out who bought this, but before we will of course unbox it. You can see here again on the side the different tablet modes that you can do. So there is not only the complete tablet and the notebook form factor, but you have also the tent and some more. So yeah, here again on this side technical details, but I already told you all of that, so let's just unbox it and let's see what's inside. And I also have a Lenovo Yoga 11S here, the first generation Lenovo Yoga, which is a little bit thicker and heavier, or it seems. I mean, the 11 is of course not as heavy as this one, or maybe even the same, but it's interesting to see two orange notebooks close to each other. And I will just put it down for a second if you guys don't mind, because I just want to show you first what else is inside the box, how I do it always. So you can see here on the side we will have just a power cable inside. This is the UK side, but it's actually empty since it's a German version. We just have a really tiny or regular power cable right here. So standard and here, and the standard PSU and right here, which we have seen on a lot of notebooks. So not this thick clunky cable here, but a really small and light one. I like that because also when we take out here the manuals, which I will show you in a second, we also have here a really small little tiny AC adapter, which is really handy to just take with you on the go. You can see you have also here this Velcro strap on it, quite handy, just like the Lenovo on this side. It's matte. We have here the power plug, and there's no USB charging or anything on this one, which is a little bit sad since the Yoga only has 2 USB ports, but the cable again quite long, and the power cable on this one on the Yogas is quite cool. Was the same on the last year's model. It's a really it doesn't matter which way you put it in, and it looks a little bit like USB, so it's not even round. And actually, if you want some technical details, we have 20 volt output at 3.25 amps. Which would mean maximum of 75 watts. So it doesn't really need that much power. And then we have also manual book or a little guide here. Won't go through all of them, of course, just for the beginners, warranty guide and so on and so on, nothing special. And some safety regulation stuff, so you should not throw away your notebook because there's a battery inside, and so on and so on. We have to do something for the environment. So let me put this to the side, since you of course want to see this. Let's just start here on the outside. From here you won't see the difference between the last year's and this year's model. It's still awesome little orange, but there's also a grey version I think available with a nice little rubber coating. Feels really great. Lenovo logo here on top, and on the bottom we have here some screws that you could take out to dismantle the bottom. We will maybe do that. I'm not sure yet if my friend allows me to do that, but otherwise nothing special there. Some rubber legs. So let's see the ports. So on this side we just have the power, USB 3.0, a micro HDMI and an SD card reader. so not much, but of course I think you will use this side for the most time. On the front there is nothing, not even a status LED, just a interesting little shark mouth design. And on the other side we have another USB port actually, which gives out also extra power if you want to charge your devices overnight, like your smartphone or something else. Otherwise here just a headphone and microphone in one, 3.5mm jack for listening to music. Volume control, quite important when it's in tablet mode. You can just volume up, volume down when you have it in your lap. Recover button has been quite long since I have seen. No, this is display rotation lock, I'm sorry, and then the recover button is right here on top, close to the on and off switch, which is on the side, not on the front anymore. And there's also a status LED, and it's blinking right now a little bit since it's in standby actually. So we should just pull it open, take out this little thing that was inside here, which is usually quite handy so the display doesn't press on the screens. And then of course it didn't turn on yet, so we just have to press the button here on the side. If I can manage to find it. Here we go, and then we are ready to go again if I type in the password. But before, let's just see what the keyboard can do. This is now a German keyboard, so don't worry. In the US usually the enter button is, I know, a little bit smaller and the keys are a little bit different, but otherwise you can see quite a cool keyboard. And not only cool, but it also has a backlight to it, and I think it's off right now, but otherwise not only is the keyboard really perfect for typing, I love Lenovo keyboards, but on the bottom this part where you just put your hands on, or that's actually all around the keyboard, this feels like real leather. I'm not sure if it's real leather, but it's amazing to feel and touch and to use also with sweaty hands, I would say, like I have. Otherwise the two microphones are right here on the bottom. There is the webcam here on top, we could try out in a second, but let me first type in that password. Enter, and here we go. This is the modern UI interface where we could just really select our program that we would want. Since there is 8.1 inside Windows 8.1, you can just slide this up here, and then we have all our apps here installed. It's quite a few already, since my buddy is using it now for a few days and he's looking for all kinds of handy apps. But I'm looking right now just for the camera app, but I don't even have to look. I can just start typing camera. And then we have here Yoga Cameraman or just a camera. Let me just try the camera itself. I will say let's use it, and then you can see yourself or the camera here I'm recording this with right now. And yeah, it's quite sharp, fast and crisp, even with not that a great light. So that's perfect there. Let me just go back here somehow. Hitting the Windows button usually works. There we go. And of course I don't have to use it this way. Right now, as you can see, I can just really start typing here, and then it would search something. But after I go above the 180 degrees, which most notebooks can do, and actually let me close this up so it's a little bit better to see that the search is gone. So I could just type anything I want here. The search won't appear, but what appears is when I want to search. Come on, go home. Okay, a little bit buggy right now. Let's just go to the desktop. So we have here the desktop mode, where I could just really put this down flat on my table, open up a media player, and then watch a movie like this. For example, in the airplane or anywhere else. This is really quite handy. You can also put it down like that if you would want that, like a tent. That's also a mode. And the screen, as you can see, flipped already. We have all the Windows buttons now here on the bottom, where I could press the Windows button here again to go, for example, back into the Metro UI. So this is really a cool device if you just want to play around with the form factors. It's really slim, and I think the battery life should be quite amazing. Also, let me check it out. Let me just go here to the desktop, or just to the settings, and then we can see somewhere. No, we cannot. Let me go to the desktop. Hit the battery button, and we have at 53%, 6 hours and 50 minutes. Of course, this is not true. This won't have 12 hours of battery life. We're not connected to the Wi-Fi right now though, so that's why this could happen. So I think 7 to 10 hours is a realistic number with this notebook if you are doing light working, which we will do right now. And I promised you actually a Lenovo Yoga 11S comparison, which means, let me flip it back together, close it up. And here is the 11S, which looks like a sibling but let me just put it right here on top. So you guys can see a little bit that in terms of thickness, Lenovo learned a lot. They made it a little slimmer looking, and it's actually not only slimmer, but this is a little bit cooler and heavier. On the back though, they look kind of the same with the hinge and fans and everything, but on the other side again, the 13 or the Yoga 2 Pro on the bottom is of course a lot lighter and has a better form factor maybe. But one thing Lenovo that you could maybe work on for next year that a lot of other companies do, here this bezel could be even smaller. Would be amazing if you would make it even smaller, but otherwise this is one of the perfect notebooks. I would prefer maybe one more USB port, but otherwise thank you very much Lenovo for developing this. Maybe I hope they will be coming up more soon. And this was the Lenovo Yoga Lenovo Yoga 2 Pro here in a short unboxing and hands-on and maybe a tiny little review. So till next time, peace and again. My name is Balazs, and don't forget to subscribe to Untitled TV.